Okay, it looks like I am live. I am coming at you from my new apartment. I moved this past weekend. That's why there was no live stream. So now I'm pretty much set up. I have my studio corner set up anyway. So yeah. Give me just a moment. I'm actually going to leave this up and I'm going to make some posts on social media just to make sure everybody knows where I am at today. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you. Happy to see you here. I'm just going to make a post actually on Patreon just to let my patrons know that I am on here. Let's see. Buttons. Where are the buttons? You would think I would know this by now. Hi, Brett. Good to see you. Okay, it looks like I got a whole party here, so I will just hold off on that then. All right. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and make this announcement really fast. I feel the need to bring this up because of everything that's been happening over the past week. So, I know that y'all have seen the news and everything about what's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement and with everything going on, especially with George Floyd and everything like that. And I want to stress that what I am going to say and speak about are my views. They do not represent the views of Never Ending. Never Ending is sponsoring this live stream. They have asked me to make this disclaimer, so I am going to make this disclaimer that the views that I am going to express are my own and do not represent Never Ending. That said, I am going to be doing my part to address what I feel needs addressing. So for those of you who are on my email list, you got the link for a blog post that I posted recently of some Black creators that I love that I feel like you should support. You can check that out on my website. You can find that here, kelseydcrawford.com. I wanted to give shout outs to my favorite Black creators because they deserve your attention, your love, and if you can spare it, your money, especially right now. Because truth be told, coronavirus has affected the Black community way more severely than other communities. So anything that you can do to help out these creators would be hugely helpful. Also, if you are in the phone calling mood, check out the website 8cantwait.org. That's the number 8, cantwait.org. And what they do is they're keeping track of what measures are put in place in your police forces in given cities that are near you. And it'll tell you what policies those police forces have enacted and which ones they have not enacted. And you can make your phone calls to the mayors of those places to be like, hey, there are a couple of things that your police force does not do that would actually like protect the communities and make sure that nobody dies at the hands of police. Maybe you should put these in place. If you are in a phone calling mood, definitely check out 8cantwait.org. I am always a big advocate for if there is a means for you to call your elected officials and hold them accountable for stuff, do that. I'm a big advocate for that sort of a thing. So if you can, check that out. Again, my website is on the bottom here because I'm giving a shout out to some of my favorite Black creators and some of my favorite Black owned businesses. There's also a link at the bottom of that post for bookstores that are Black owned and support Black communities that I highly recommend that you check out. I actually bought a book recently from one of these stores, Key Bookstore. I think they're based in the DC area, if I remember correctly, but a lot of them have their own Instagram profiles. So if you're on Instagram, follow them on there. Links are through kelseydcrawford.com. Check it out. It's awesome. Anything that you can do to help support the Black community, whether financially or just giving them shout outs on social media, is like huge right now, I feel. But every little bit counts. I'm not in a position right now to go out to protests because I have friends who are autoimmune deficient, and I don't want to risk getting COVID-19 and therefore accidentally giving it to them. So I am doing my part to mitigate the risk of catching COVID by staying home as much as I possibly can. Thankfully, I can work from home, and this is a privilege that not a lot of people have. So I just wanted to reiterate that. But since I can't go out to protests like I want to, I want to give shout outs to people who need the shout outs, and also just promote 8 Can't Wait and other ways that you can hold your elected officials accountable, because those are hugely important as well. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and get into today's live stream. I'm actually doing a giveaway in this live stream. So to enter, all you got to do is leave a like and leave a comment. Once this video reaches 20 likes, I will give away the Charlie Clow trilogy for free to one lucky viewer. So if you want to enter, just leave a like and leave a comment in the chat, and you will be entered into the giveaway. Once we reach 20 likes, I will actually do the giveaway. The Charlie Clow books are books that I wrote and illustrated. I actually have the third of the books, The Case of the Wendigo, right here within easy reach. I have the other 2 as well. I just have them on a shelf in a different room. But this is The Case of the Wendigo. This is the 3rd adventure. It is gorgeous, and it is in full color. The other 2 adventures are in black and white. But this trilogy is all about a punk college student, Charlie, and a guardian angel, Clow, teaming up to beat up monsters and keeping their city safe. And I thought that that would be a good series to give away to a lucky viewer. Let's check out the comments. Thank you, Brett. Be sure to also share this stream on social media as well, just to make sure that the more viewers that we get, the sooner that we can hit the 20 like threshold, the sooner we can do the giveaway. All right. And they are really fun stories. You should know you support me on Patreon and you back my Kickstarters, so you have read all of them. Yes, they are. I do my best to make them really fun. I'll leave this little banner up at the bottom here, and we shall get started with, I think I'll actually start a new thing. So let me just get one of these pinups here as like a template type of a thing. Here we are. This is a good one too. This is Satine Phoenix as a sorceress. I was asked to draw this for Never Ending about a week ago. It was a lot of fun to draw. Let us go ahead and clear this out and make a new one. Because today, for the live stream, I wanted to draw my character Charlie from the Charlie Clow trilogy as a monk. Because in the comics, she knows Taekwondo. So I thought that it would be fitting. All right, let's get this visible. This tint is just to save my eyes so that I'm not staring at a blank white screen all day. All right. Starting a new layer, pencils, and we are going to sketch. And we're going to, okay, I have a pose idea. I'm going to zoom in and get the arms. And I'm actually drawing this without tea by my side. I did not get tea ready before the stream started. To be fair, there was a there was a meeting that I had shortly before this stream started. So there was a lot that just didn't get done. But that's okay. We can make it work. I like to draw ab lines rather than defined six packs, because if there's any one thing that I have learned from my time in weightlifting, it is that the six packs are only really visible when you flex. They're not something that happens naturally. So all those pictures of like models that you see in magazines or in YouTube advertisements or anything like that that have six-pack abs, they're flexing. That's not how they look naturally when they're walking about buying groceries or doing anything other daily thing that they're supposed to do. Now, this pose that Charlie is going to be doing is not really based on any martial arts, so just kind of deal with it. I just got the image in my mind and I was like, I think that would look cool. The shin, the leg, and there we go. Hold on, let me see how that looks proportion-wise. Okay. I'm probably going to redraw a few of these. I want to apologize for not showing up at the past couple of streams. I had stuff pop up. That's okay. Last week there was no live stream because I was moving into my new apartment, so it's all good. I have a soft spot for monks. My favorite was a bugbear drunken oh my god, this already sounds great. Bugbear drunken master who solved the issues but normally caused more issues than he solved. His name was Urmasi. I already love this character. Holy banana pants. Thank you so much for sharing him. That sounds great. Oh my goodness. Okay. Actually, before I continue, I am going to make a post on Instagram here of what's going on this here live stream. Hashtag new background. Yes. I actually really like my new apartment right now. It's a nice neighborhood too. Surprising number of kids. I'm surprised at how many kids there are in this neighborhood, but we managed to get a spot relatively close to the leasing office. So that means we're really close to the pool. The pool is out of order at the moment, unfortunately. They're working on fixing the bottom, but once it is fixed and, you know, social distancing parameters allowing, I would love to go swimming because I miss going swimming. Yes. All right. Back to drawing Charlie here. I'm actually going to redraw this leg. Hold on. Again, this is not based on any like actual martial arts stance. Surprisingly, Taekwondo has a lot of squats. I only ever had like one Taekwondo kind of a class. I say kind of a class because it was more of a workshop for people who have never done martial arts before. And it was led by a person who was like one of the upper belts in Taekwondo, but not like, but had not done a proper instruction course before, so we were kind of like her test audience. But there were a couple of things that I learned about Taekwondo that particular day. One is that there's a lot of squats. Two, there's a lot of stances that start in a squatting position. And three, part of the reason that Taekwondo is called such is because it relies a lot on feet. So lots of things that I learned that day. Also, yes, share this live stream far and wide as far as you can, because I'm doing a giveaway. Once this stream reaches 20 likes and you leave a comment in the chat, I will be doing a giveaway to give away the Charlie Clow trilogy for free to one lucky viewer. So share this far and wide and let's get those likes racked up. You would think with the amount of pinups that I have been asked to draw for the last month, I would know how to draw feet better. I'm going to redraw the foot because it's not a good position for the foot to be in this particular pose, I wouldn't think. The heel can kind of stay there, but there. That's a decent enough general shape. I'll add some more details here shortly. Oh, I just discovered this tool recently. Hold on. Okay. I feel like I might have shown off this tool in the previous live stream, the one that I did like 2 weeks ago, but like, oh boy, has this mirroring tool been a lifesaver with making sure proportions are correct and that the angles are correct. I can tilt this foot a little bit further to the side, but not as far as what it was before. So let's do... about there, I think. Yeah, that looks good. But yeah, I wanted to add the disclaimer at the start of the live stream, just in case there were any discussions about Black Lives Matter or anything like that. Because here's the thing, as somebody who was part of the Unitarian Universalist Church for many, many years, I do consider myself more of a social justice advocate than I did previously. And it is something that I do take seriously, is social justice work. And that's something that Unitarian Universalism stresses a lot, is doing the work to make the communities that you are in a more just and better place. But doing it from a place where people of many faiths can come together to work towards the common good. Not necessarily in a, oh, this is something that we do because we believe in one common faith. No, Unitarian Universalism is more like, look, we're all of different faiths, but we all believe in some commonalities. And one of those commonalities is that people need to live in a just society. And we work towards making that society more just. So that was one of the big reasons that I joined Unitarian Universalism. And they talk a lot about how to be a proper ally and how to address racism in a lot of ways. And Unitarian Universalism has actually been working really, really hard to address racism and white supremacy in their own leadership. This is something that's actually been brought up in general assemblies in years past. So they are working really hard on these questions and these issues and promoting Black leadership within their ranks. And that's something that I got to give them kudos for. There's still a lot more work to be done, but they're working from a good place, or at least they're starting with good intentions, and they are doing their best to listen to the groups that are within the UU Church, because there is a group within the UU Church. I don't remember what the anachronism stands for, but it's BLUU. I think it's something like Black Leaders of Unitarian Universalism, but they've been working really hard with those peeps on addressing leadership issues within the community. And that's something that I think a lot more people could learn from, honestly. And I'll be honest, within the comics community, I do feel like these issues could be addressed a bit better. But again, I also want to stress that my views are my views. They do not represent the views of Never Ending, who is sponsoring this episode. Everything that I am speaking about with this topic is entirely my views. So keep that in mind moving forward if you're going to leave comments. Oh, back to D&D stuff, because I want to highlight Brett's comment here. Massey joined the group as a way to get out of jail because he was arrested for existing on the street, which is okay because he destroyed a noble's kitchen because he couldn't get a breakfast beer. I get the impression that this drunken master bugbear may have been a chaotic alignment of some sort. So that's hilarious. Interesting and hilarious. I'm trying to think of one of the more wacky things that any of my characters have done. I did play a halfling bard by the name of Ginger Rogers. She played a ukulele named Freddie. And one of the wilder things that happened when I was playing as her was that the party had entered a dungeon that had wild magic rules involved, and I had not encountered wild magic up to this point in D&D. And like, I'm playing a bard, which is a magic heavy class, and everybody around me is like dying at the hands of this like wind devil that's like in the halls and knocking everybody around and proving really, really hard to hit. And I was like, oh, the only way that we can hit this thing is with magical means, but the wild magic rules are in place, but I can only cast magic because I'm a bard. What do I do? And I just went, screw it. And I cast a healing spell to heal one of my party members. And then the DM was like, okay. And then he rolls the percentile dice for wild magic. And then he looks at it and he goes, and I was like, oh God, what? And he just reaches into his bag and he digs and he digs and he digs. And he's like, hold on a second. And we're like, oh God, what's going on? Did I summon a demon on accident? What's going on? And he just digs and digs and digs. And then he pulls out a unicorn and sets it on the table. Because the percentile that he rolled was like, okay, because Ginger Rogers cast this spell, I rolled this number, and that means a unicorn has appeared. It is not in anybody's control, but it is lawful good and will attack anything that is not lawful good. And it attacked the wind devil and just killed it in one blow. And then the unicorn went over to another fallen party member and brought them back to life. And then it was like, and my deed is done. And it just disappeared. And I was like, this is the happiest accident I have ever pulled as a bard. I'm so happy that this happened. And nobody died. I was so happy. But yeah, that's wild magic in a nutshell, man. Like, woof. Okay, this arm is not, it's not big enough, I don't think, compared to the head. So let's just enlarge this a bit. I don't think it needs to be that large, but there we go. I'm going to move this to reconnect it back to the arm. There we go. And again, I'm drawing Charlie, so she's going to have some beef. She's going to have some beef on them bones because, you know, she's a Taekwondo practitioner. Circling back to the discussion of Black representation in comics and things, that's actually something that was discussed in Validation. I completely forgot about this particular arc, but there is an arc in which Allie goes to a comic convention and they're talking about, and she attends this panel about representation in comics, and we had to make a call out to one of the big comic conventions that was like, oh yes, we're having a diversity in comics panel, and it's manned by white dudes and one white woman, and we're like, okay, this is your diversity in comics panel, and like, you could make the judgment call of, well, what, some of the people could be bisexual and that's representation. Some of the people could have mental illness and that's representation. But if you're going to be talking about race in a given medium, it would be helpful if you had a person of color on the panel, just throwing that out there. But yeah, we wanted to make a comic in Validation addressing that issue. So if you wanted to reread that, I'll go ahead and throw the link for Validation up on there, because we do talk about that in the comic. That's something that Chris and I brought up in the story. And we did have a moment where one of the members of Pirate Cat Comics in Validation brings up the question of, well, if you say that you value Black voices, why don't you have Black creators on your staff? And the moderator was like, huh, interesting question. And the person kept pressing the question, like, look, like, it's one thing to like say that you value these things. It is another thing to actually hire these people. And it is another thing to actually like get their input on these stories. So again, that's something that we talk about in Validation, a little ahead of the curve there. Not really ahead of the curve though. This is a discussion that's been like really prevalent for years. It's now coming back into the forward with everything going on right now. I'll leave the link up for folks who may be interested in reading that particular arc, because that is something that is discussed in Validation. We actually discuss a lot of things in Validation, thinking about it. It's part of the reason that we have such an active comments section, is that we address these things, and we try to address them in a more nuanced way, and addressing, hey, these people are human. It's okay if they fudge up a little bit because we're human. And it's okay if what the person says is not something that you agree with, but we also don't want the I guess wrong side, but more the opposing side. We don't want to portray them as just a one-note caricature. Like, they have arguments. They're weak arguments, but they are arguments that, you know, if you're going to have a debate with them, they need to be illustrated. But with Validation, we strive to make these discussions more human and less like one straw man talking to another straw man. Because that's something I've come across a lot in especially 3 or 4 panel comics, is that they'll try to address these issues, but they'll do it in like a straw man versus straw man kind of an argument, and that doesn't serve anybody. I will also give a shout out right now to one of my favorite Black creators, T1J on YouTube, because while he does talk a lot about politics, he does so in a way that's sincere, meaning he doesn't just address the opposing side as like a straw man that's really dumb and they need to have their talking points taken down. It's more, hey, these people are human too. We need to address the fact that they are human and that they've made mistakes. That doesn't mean that we need to concede them as right. It just means that, hey, other humans can have these opinions as well. Everybody's on a different journey. And that's why I really like T1J, is that he's really upfront and honest about that. And he addresses things in ways that I feel like not a lot of people do. So shout out to T1J. If you want to check out his channel, just look up T1J on YouTube. He's really cool. All right, let's see how this pose looks generally. Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. I might actually change the hands. Yeah, I think I might give her a quarterstaff, actually, looking at this pose. Hey, everyone. Apologize for being late. I overslept him and in the middle of chores. You know what, Chloe? I will not hold it against you. It's totally fine. I also know that you've got a zine deadline either today or tomorrow. So, like, whatever you get done is whatever you get done. Don't, like, it's really easy to say don't feel guilty for not getting everything done. But speaking as somebody who holds myself to higher standards and is like, oh my God, I got like a million things going on. Like, just one thing at a time. One thing at a time. You got this. I believe in you. Whatever you get done is what gets done. So if you needed to hear that today, there you go. What gets done is what gets done. That's something that I've been telling myself the last couple of days, especially since I'm doing a lot of work for Neverending. I've fallen behind on updates of The Legend of Jamie Roberts, and I'm trying to be as good of an ally as possible with everything going on, and also just moving into an apartment. Like, there's a lot, and I'm just like, you know, what gets done is what gets done. And I will be happy with whatever progress that I make at the end of the day, even if it's, hey, I remembered to eat 3 meals, and hey, I remembered to shower. Like, those are all things that you should be rewarding yourself for. Also, bless your awesome heart. Well, bless you, Chloe. You are welcome to come over to the apartment once we've gotten it set up a little bit more, because we've got like so many bottles of wine. We have so many bottles. And we would be happy to share a glass with you. All right, I'm going to get this banner up one more time. Leave a like and a comment. Once we reach 20 likes, I will give away the Charlie Clow trilogy for free to one lucky viewer. I might even do a dramatic reading of some pages if any of you are up for that. I love doing dramatic readings of my comics. Like, it's something that I love to do at comic conventions, and I haven't been able to do that very much because there is no comic convention season this year. Like, I got the update that Small Press Expo has been canceled, and it makes me sad, but I understand why they did it. But I would love to do a dramatic reading of some comics, of particularly some Charlie Clow pages. If y'all are up for it, leave a comment in the chat and let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in or not. Okay, back to drawing Charlie as a monk. Yeah, I'm going to redraw the hands. I'm going to, I'm actually really pleased with how these fists came out, but I'm going to redraw them so that she's able to hold a quarterstaff behind her head. Oh, you know what? This is something that I've done previously in another pinup thing, because there was another pinup that I did earlier this week, and I was like, I really like how these hands came out, but it's not necessary for this pose. So I just selected them and then cut, paste, so that they're on their own layer. Here we go. And I'm just going to move that layer down and turn that layer off. That way I can redraw the pencils for that. Oh, I did also. I'll show this later in the stream. I did start a new illustration of the forest spirit, and I'm really liking how it's coming out so far. It's only in like the pencil stage, but I really like it. I'll share it later. Forest spirit is honestly one of my favorite like types of deities to draw. I mean, she's so nice that she became the cover of my Gods and Spirits book for a reason. Widen the hand slightly so that we can get a good grip in. Actually, you know what? It would be better if I drew the outline of the weapon first. That way I have something to draw around. So, new layer. We're going to get some straight lines in. And we're going to move this up a bit, about here-ish. Yeah. Boop. Okay. Weapon outline. And that's its own layer. That way I can move it around separately from the hands. Shaboom. By the way, if you are so interested in ways that you can be a constructive ally during this time, the Vlogbrothers did two things of note that I'm really pleased that they did. One was that they put together a playlist of Black voices and Black creators and highlighting them on YouTube. So if you're looking for some new YouTubers to follow, check out the playlist that the Vlogbrothers put together. The other thing that they did, Hank Green interviewed a community organizer who is also a nerd fighter. Nerd fighters are the name of the fans of the Vlogbrothers. I consider myself a nerd fighter because I've been a fan of their stuff since like 2010, so like the last 10 years. And I've kept up with their stuff, everything from like Crash Course to Animal Wonders Montana and all that stuff. Like, also, Animal Wonders Montana turned me on to this YouTube channel called Jungle Jordan, and I love Jungle Jordan to bits. He is this Black man who just highlights different animals in 1 minute or less. He did a video recently where he goes exploring in a national park that's close to him, and he's pointing out animals, and he's just so genuinely excited, and I love it. It's charming as heck. Jungle Jordan, look him up on YouTube. He's marvelous. But anyway, back to the Vlogbrothers. Hank Green did an interview with a community organizer talking about ways to be a good ally, and there were a lot of things in that video that like I was like, yeah, this is something that we should all strive for. One of the big takeaways that I love is you could feel guilty for, the color of your skin, especially if you're a white person. Like you could feel guilty about that, or you could use your privilege as a leverage point to elevate other people who need that elevation. And that's more the stance that I like is, yeah, I'm a white person, but I can use this to my advantage to be like, hey, check out these other people who really need to be listened to. Check out these other people who need your support. Like, yeah. If there's anything that you would like to discuss about these sorts of questions, just hit me up on social media. Like, I'm always willing to talk about this kind of stuff. Again, this is something that Unitarian Universalism addresses a lot, and I've been a Unitarian Universalist for the last like 3 years. So these sorts of questions are not alien to me. These kinds of discussions are not alien to me. In fact, if anything, I feel like I've been a little starved having these conversations until fairly recently. And now these conversations are up and I'm like, yes, finally something that I can talk about with people to get people to listen. But it's also, this is not my fight. This is something where if there are other people speaking, it is my position to be like, y'all need to listen to this person. And that's why I wanted to highlight some of the stuff that the Vlogbrothers did when they put together that playlist and they had that interview with the community member organizer. Like, definitely go check those out. They're awesome. Like, my audience is not super duper big, but y'all are great. And I know that y'all endeavor to do the best that you can with where you are at. And that's something that I hugely appreciate out of all of you. You are now signing my wife's song, Awesome Line. I feel like this is a comment to something that happened earlier that I might have just brain farted and forgot about. I'm tired. I am interested in the dramatic reading. Yes, good. Okay, because I could do a dramatic reading of, I love to do dramatic readings of two particular sets of pages in the case of the Wendigo, and that's the book that I have on hand right now. That's one of the books that you could win in this giveaway. I'm leaving the giveaway notice up on the bottom of the screen. So yeah, I think I'll do a dramatic reading of the case of the Wendigo later today. One sec. Excuse me. Might need to get more water later. Oh, sorry, I just saw Bri out the corner of my eye. She's discovered this little patch right in front of the screen and glass window, or the sliding glass door. And she's discovered that it's a really good spot to just curl up in the sun. And that's what she's doing. And she's just so cute. she's being so spoiled the last couple of days. Because an update on how the cats are doing. So in the move to my new apartment, I brought Bri with me. But Scarlett is staying behind with my sister, Kia. This is for a couple of reasons. One, Scarlett and Bri never got along throughout most of their life. Like, they've been sisters, like they are sisters, and they've been living together for almost all of their lives. And we never really separated them, but they never got along. Like, they would kind of lay in close proximity to each other, but they would never cuddle. They got into fights more often than not. They did not groom each other. They did not take care of each other when one was sick and the other wasn't. Like, they just, and it definitely came to a head after I took Bri to the vet so that she could get some teeth pulled, because she had to have 5 teeth yanked out of her mouth. And if you watched the live stream that I did 2 weeks ago, then you probably heard me having to chase Scarlett into another room because she was throwing a growly hissy fit. And that had been the case in the house for like 2.5 weeks. Anytime that Bri and Scarlett were in the same general vicinity, if Scarlett had Bri in her line of sight, immediate growls. And I got really tired of it. And I was like, you know what, Kia, if you could just keep Scarlett with you, I will take Bri with me. And this is their window of time where they can finally be separated, and we can see how well they do without each other being in each other's face. And so far, Bri has been like loving this. Like, she's been loving the whole, like, yay, I'm the only cat in the house right now, which she is. She's the only cat in the house right now. My roommate Alex has a cat named Boo Boo, but Boo Boo has not been moved in yet. She recently got microchipped, and Boo Boo is staying at Alex's parents until that anxiety period has passed, because it's better for her to be in an environment where she's comfortable rather than like putting in a microchip and then moving her to a new house within the same couple of days. That's just too much stress for a cat. That's one of the big reasons I was glad that the move got pushed. In my case, because Bree needed to have her teeth extracted, but in the original schedule, it would have been day 1, teeth get pulled, day 2, move out of the house. That would have been way too much stress. It's too much stress for a human, much less a cat. So that's why I was glad that the move got pushed to June 1st, was it gave Bree enough of a window of time for her to heal before getting ready for the move, which she actually took the move way better than I thought she would. Better than Kia's kitten, Navi, which that'll be interesting to see is how well Scarlet will get along with Navi. Hey, I caught another one of your streams talking about kitties. Yes, we're talking about kitties. I'm giving everybody the catch up on how Bree and Scarlet are doing, because Scarlet is staying behind with my sister Kia. Bree is the one who moved with me. She's doing really well, and she's just enjoying basking in the sun and being cute, and we are just spoiling the heck out of her. We've put her on an almost exclusively wet food diet because of her teeth, or lack thereof, because now that she's had 5 teeth yanked out of her mouth, she doesn't have very many teeth left. So we're not going to give her dry food for the foreseeable future. It's just going to be better if she does not have dry food. Here we go. Oh, I'm going to flip this back. I'm going to change the eyebrows too. This is Charlie we're talking about. Charlie's a badass. Yeah, I'll admit, if there's one thing that I'd love to make comics about, it is girls with traditionally boy names being badasses in the situation that they're in. I've noticed that that's a tendency that I do whenever I make comics. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, I don't think. And it doesn't always hold true. The Legend of Jamie Roberts is about a genderqueer person who is a pirate. And being a pirate means, hey, there's this treasure present. It's our job to get that treasure. But that's not Charlie's MO. Charlie's MO is, hey, dude, there's monsters in the street. We got to keep the city safe, man. This is not cool. So happy to hear the kitties are doing good. Yes, they're actually doing way better now that they are separated by almost 400 miles. I live on one side of the state. Kia lives on the other side of the state. No, they're doing really well. Scarlet, she's still Scarlet's still kind of not super great health-wise. Not to get too gross, but I did notice that she wasn't feeling the super duper best when I was moving out. Oh, hold on. I forgot how I drew Charlie's ears. Okay. I was thinking it was that style, but I wanted to be absolutely certain before drawing them. I know that she has gauges, but I couldn't remember if she had the little knob at the top of the ear or not. And she does. She has that knob at the top of the ear. The gauges that she has in her ears are almost always spiky. That's just her aesthetic. And then she's got the industrial bar. And does she have another piercing on that ear? Oh, she does. She has a loop. There we go. To be fair on myself, it's been 4 years since I drew Charlie to any regular extent, so it's okay if I have to pull references for how I drew her. I do remember how I drew her hair. Like, that's hard to forget. For the record, Charlie's hair is braided, not dreaded. Dreads are an entirely different look. I'm actually going to turn the weapon outline off so that I can see what her head looks like. Let me see. Oh, that hand proportion is off. Hold on. Also, I could probably move that arm to a different angle. Let me see. First, let's enlarge this a bit. And might rotate it, might not. We'll see. Hold on. I'm going to do the mirror thing and see how the arms look, because that looks a little off to me. Okay. Okay. I think I see what I need to do. I want to move this over here. There we go. That's a bit better. Let's just move that down just to, oh, hold on. There, that's a bit better. Oh, one thing that could help too. There. I'm going to narrow this a bit. There we are. As a heads up, there's been talks in the Never Ending teams, because since I do a lot of work with Never Ending, there's been talks about launching a Twitch channel. I'll keep you posted on the blog and on social media and on the email newsletter as to the development of the Twitch channel. But this is something that's like, it's only been mentioned. We're not working on anything hardcore quite yet, because we're gearing up for a Kickstarter campaign. The Kickstarter launches next week. Stay tuned on social media for updates on that, because we have been working our buns off getting ready for that Kickstarter. Treasure, you mean my property that I was not aware of yet? That is exactly what I mean, Brett. I'm glad that you and I are on the same page. That's how all pirates think, is, oh, this is my property. I just haven't noticed that it was stored over here. We're going to liberate it from its storage unit, and we are just going to move it elsewhere so that I can more easily access it. That is exactly how that works. I'm actually going to rotate this hand, fist. Yeah. Also enlarge it just a wee bit so that it's proportionally consistent with the other hand. Of course, I could also shrink this one. Anyway, here we go. Fix up the lines a bit more. There we go. Whoops. I've just been dropping things this morning. Don't mind me. Boop. Okay. Gonna shrink this down. Keep it somewhat consistent with the other hand. There we go. Shaboom. Okay. Oh, back to the hair, because that's why I put it on pause. Was I was drawing the hair and I was like, wait a second, there might be some tangent lines that are happening and I need to fix that. And yeah, I'm either going to need to redraw this arm entirely, or I'm just going to have to accept that there's going to be tangent lines. I think I'll redraw the arm, honestly. Save my progress, and I'm just going to whoop. And we're going to try this again. I'm going to try this again. All right, mirror, how does it look? Okay, that's not bad. Oh, Chloe, Alex would pop in and say hi, but she's already off at work. So maybe another live stream, she'll make appearances. We'll see. Bree's not going to make an appearance anytime soon. She's curled up in her little sunspot for a nap. So it's all good. Pirate friend? Pirate friend. Absolutely pirate friend. Somebody in the chat, keep me posted as to how many likes this live stream is at, because once we reach 20 likes, I'll go ahead and do the giveaway for the Charlie Clow trilogy. I'll probably do the same thing that I did the last time that I did a giveaway. Is once we reach 20 likes, it'll be like, yay, we can finally give away a thing. And then we'll do some like figuring outs, and then I'll announce the winner next week. But keep me posted as to how many likes this live stream has. That way I'll know whether the giveaway is happening or not. I would love to do the giveaway. Let me make sure. I'm just going to move this over so that I can see the other hand. That way I can keep things proportional. Okay. Do I want to do it that way? Could do it that way. Kind of relying on a mental reference in my head, because I had drawn a monk last week who was also holding a staff-like weapon overhead, and trying to remember how I did the hands for that one. Ah, God, I don't like that. Okay, hold on. Okay, how's that look? It's getting there. That foot needs to be a bit bigger. One of these days, I'll do a traditional sketch in my sketchbook just to remind myself of what paper feels like. It's been a while since I've drawn in my sketchbook. Okay, this could work for now. Yeah. Coolios. Okay, so the pencils are largely done. I just got to come up with a costume idea so that she's not in her underwear. 7 now. Cool. Thank you for keeping me posted. Let's see here. Oh, I got an idea. I'm just going to do a little shout out on Instagram and a few other places. I just saw there was a notification that there is a new video from D&D Beyond, and I'm so glad that they used this particular preview image. I've seen this particular picture that they used on Tumblr before, and it's great to see this particular artist get more exposure. That makes me happy. Just going to do a thing really fast. Bear with me. Let's actually just get this. I got to get some more water anyway. I'll be right back, y'all. I just remembered Alex has a Keurig. I'm going to make hot cocoa. There we go. I just remembered that my roommate Alex has a Keurig, so I'm making some hot cocoa really quick. I use a Keurig to make my instant milk teas. It works so well, right? I have yet to use it for tea, but I do love it for hot cocoa purposes. Like, I know that I am lactose intolerant and I should not really have hot cocoa, but it's delicious. I'm going to have it anyway. There is something I forgot to put in a spot. That's the Keurig. Now, where is the thing? There it is. And we're going to put this in this folder. Oh, we have a special guest. Hold on. It's a baby. Yeah. You gonna be on camera? Gonna entertain the viewers while I go get my drink. Yeah, baby. Oh, chica, 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 chica. She's just so cute. Yep, you're gonna keep my seat warm? Oh. All right, I'm gonna go get my drink. I will be right back, y'all. Keep them entertained, okay, puppy? Oh, honey. Oh, honey. You know, I'm surprised that I did not nickname this cat Shadow, considering that she follows me around. BRB, fetching tea. All right. Okay. Ooh. I also have to give a shout out to the Financial Diet. Check them out on YouTube, but especially their website, thefinancialdiet.com. They've been doing a lot of things in advocacy for Black voices. They're not just about doing budgets and stuff. They also talk about like corporate feminism and Black voices and ways that you can be an advocate and organizations to donate to. Check it out. Disembodied Hand is telling you, thefinancialdiet.com. Check it out. It's great. Okay, be right back. I just got the notification on Instagram that the Financial Diet had posted a post about how Black feminism is ignored in corporate America, or how corporate feminism ignores Black voices. I'm going to check that out later. I love reading about this stuff. Okay, but that's a me thing. Ooh, new comments. Let's see. Kitty has taken over stream. She almost did. Yes. You know what? I would be okay with that. Fine with that too. Black cats are awesome. I have one myself. Oh, black cats are delightful. Like Scarlet. Like, I do miss Scarlet. I do not miss her growling at Bree constantly. So I'm okay with Kia giving her a home for the time being. I have to check in every day to make sure that Scarlet is eating the prescription food that she's supposed to eat, though. She seems to be doing better. But Kia is keeping her kind of isolated in a different room at this time to minimize the amount of stress that Scarlet is going through right now, because there's a lot of animals in the house now. So they're trying to like minimize the amount of stress that Scarlet is in. I used to have a pure black half Burmese. He was opinionated about everything and told you so. Oh yeah, I will say, ever since Bree became the only cat in the house, she has become a lot more vocal, and she's like not just following people around, but she's also like doing what I call the quack quacks, where she'll just be like, meh, meh. And I'm just like, yes, kitty, tell me all about it. There for a while, I could have full-on conversations with this cat, and I would be like, Becky did what? Oh, she's back on. Here she is. Oh, baby. I'm disappointed that the Keurig did not give me more hot cocoa. So to make up for it, I brought a donut. Oh, yeah. Tell me all about the kitty. Yeah, Bree's a good kitty. I'm surprised that she was so quick to forgive me after not only having her teeth pulled, but moving her across the state. Like, that car ride was not fun for her. By the time that we unloaded the trucks and got settled down and I let her out, like, she did explore, and she hid for a little bit, but then she got right into exploring, and she actually warmed up to the place faster than I thought she would. Like, I wasn't sure if she was going to pull a Navi and just hide for several days, or if she was like actually going to be out and about. She was going to be out and about. Bree actually like gets used to new environments really, really quickly. That's hugely advantageous. I think that's probably because she has moved house a couple of times in her life. We adopted her and Scarlet in one town. Then they moved to a different town. Then they moved with Kia into her place when she got married. Then when she got divorced, she moved back and brought the cats with her. And they stayed in that house up until fairly recently. And then Bree moved with me. She's actually doing pretty well, all things considered, considering that she was in a car for like 6 hours. Like, she's actually doing pretty well. She meowed pretty constantly for the first hour and a half, but then after a point, she was like, okay, this is my reality now. And she just hunkered down, and it did help that I put her favorite toy in the carrier with her, and I gave her treats periodically, but would not recommend moving a cat 6 hours in a car across the state. So affectionate. I am jealous. Like, you don't know the half of how affectionate this cat is. Like, it's like my roommate thought that when Bree would pace around my feet when I was eating breakfast, she was like, is she begging for food? And I'm like, no, she wants to jump into my lap. Because Bree loves being in my lap. She is my lap baby. She will stand in your lap if you are a guest. She will kind of stand in your lap and she will debate whether she wants to lay down in it or not, but she lays in my lap. Like, she's my lap baby. But it does make it inopportune whenever I'm like having food at the dining room table and she starts pacing around my feet because I'm like, I know what you want. I know you want to get up in my lap. I'm not going to let you because I'm eating right now. She doesn't even beg for food. She just wants pets. She just really, really wants cuddles. She's that kind of a cat. Best stream, 5 out of 5. Thank you, Brett. Yep, she's my lap baby. I've just gotten used to this reality. My JoJo sleeps right next to me some of the time. My cat always tries to go after my cereal. Okay. Bree's been doing this thing for the last couple of days since we moved into this apartment. Probably because she's still getting used to the place. But for a while, what she would do is in the mornings, before my alarm clock would properly go off, this little booger right here, would walk into the hallway and meow like she was lost. She would be like, meow, meow. And then I would be like, here, kitty, kitty. And she would just come trotting into my bedroom, jump up onto the bed, and I would pet her a couple of times. Then she would jump off the bed, go into the hallway, and the process would repeat. And she would do this like 7 or 8 times in the morning before the alarm clock would properly go off. And I'm like, cat. So I had the thought this morning, I'm not going to set an alarm. I'm just going to have this little booger wake me up. And then she didn't. She did not do the meow circle around. She just curled up onto my bed and slept. And I'm like, cat, what are you doing? Oh, well. She's cute. I'll forgive her because she is cute. Okay. I'm going to get this donut dust off my fingers. Okay. Here we go. Sip of hot cocoa. It's like a minty hot cocoa too, so extra Christmassy. Love it. Sorry, my phone just vibrated. It's probably not urgent though. Hi, kitty. Aww. Trying to think of what would be a good costume for Charlie the monk to be in. I'm also trying to think because, like, Charlie the character is a big anime and video game nerd, particularly a video game nerd. In the case of the Wendigo, she actually cosplays as a video game character, and that's why she is dressed the way that she is in the comic. It's because she's cosplaying as somebody. So I'm trying to think of like something that would not only look like a cosplay, but something that would look like something you could dress your character up as in the Neverending app. Because this is for Neverending. That's why I'm drawing her. But I'm also drawing her because she's Charlie, and I love to draw Charlie. Even though I don't get much of a chance to draw Charlie, because the Charlie and Clow trilogy has wrapped up by this point. Still, I love to draw her because she's such an active character, and I love drawing action poses. She knew you were shaking things up, lulz. Yes, that's exactly what it is, little booger. She knew that I was shaking things up, and so she decided to shake things up in her own way, and that way was to do the meow runaround. Run into the hallway, meow, until I called for her. Then she comes trotting in, jumps up onto the bed, cuddles a bit, jumps off the bed, goes into the hallway, meow, and just repeats. that's just the Brie thing for the last week until today. Then today she decided to break the habit. Freaking okay. Oh, I have an idea. I'm actually going to move that other up a bit. There. Okay. Trying to go for more of a Street Fighter, like a bare bones Street Fighter aesthetic. Like not full on Street Fighter, but like something kind of similar, but could also appear in the Never Ending app. That's what I'm striving for. Let's see. Why not give a possibility to give tribal clothes that are normally worn by one race over another? Okay, hold on. Maybe it's because I'm tired, but I need to parse out the phrasing of this question. Okay. I'll say this. I am not opposed to drawing more tribal-ish patterns on there. Or more of a tribal aesthetic. To that end, I think I will do this. Get like a cloth in the front there. There we go. Yay. And let's see. Probably I could do the patterns on this crop top up here. Or I could do the patterns on the pants. Something. Funny thing about more African patterns, and I'm not an expert, but I did take 2 semesters of African art history, so I know more than the average bear, but again, I'm not an expert regarding African patterns. I will say, though, that in West Africa in particular, there's actually a lot of significance placed on particular patterns in fabrics. There's actually a cloth called the Bogolan in, I'm trying to remember which nation it's in. It's like the Burkina Faso, possibly the Niger region. But in Burkina Faso, there's actually a type of fabric called the Bogolan that's it's painted with mud, or at least they make the patterns in mud and then they let it sit and bake in the sun for a little bit and then they wash it off and it leaves the pattern there. And there's a lot of really cool patterns done that way. Sorry, my brain is firing on like 1 out of 6 cylinders, but at the rate of all 6, so I'm having issues keeping my thought patterns in line. Totally okay. If it helps you feel any better, being part of the Never Ending team like I am, like everybody's like kind of wearing down after a bit. Like we're working really, really hard to get as much done as we possibly can in the preparation for the Kickstarter, but we're getting, I don't want to say we're getting tired, but there's going to be hiccups because we've been working so hard, firing on a lot of cylinders all at once. So if you hear me being like, hey, did you remember to have lunch today? Did you remember to drink some water? Have you gone to the bathroom? Did you shower? Like that, being basically a mom, that's why. That's why. Alex and I are the mom friends. We are the friends who are going to be like, hey, did you eat yet? Have you eaten yet? I'm going to make you food if you haven't eaten yet. We're those friends. Oh, and there she goes. Okay. Yeah, because between the both of us, because I like to cook, Alex likes to bake, the both of us are going to like feed all of the food to our friends. We're going to be those friends. We also both struggle a lot with anxiety and other mental health issues. So the questions of, hey, did you eat yet today? Did you shower yet today? Those are important questions. And those are questions that we ask each other. We're going to be asking each other pretty frequently just to hold each other accountable. I think the both of us are going to be really good roommates, honestly. I know Alex we were both in the Arts Village, which is a learning community at the college that we attended. We were part of the same art community, and we actually lived down the same stretch of hallway for like 2 years. So I saw her a lot. Even though we didn't attend classes together, we did see each other a lot because we lived down the same stretch of hallway. That's actually a case for a lot of the old college friends that I have, is that we didn't necessarily attend classes together, but we lived in the same hall. So just exposure. We saw each other a lot. Participated in a lot of the same social activities, things like that, because the Arts Village organized learning community stuff. That was actually how I got into zines, was because there was D. Jones, who I gave a shout out to in my blog post of check out these Black artists that I love. D. Jones was one of the community organizers. He also does hip hop. Him and his then girlfriend, pretty sure now wife, Natural Disaster. I'm pretty sure that's her stage name, but she goes by Natural Disaster. They both started a big DIY movement in the Arts Village. There was a zine. There was a silk screening machine so that we could silk screen t-shirts and prints and stuff like that. And she led a couple of workshops on how to modify t-shirts into different things, how to make your own fashions and things like that. Like, they were both really awesome, teaching us how to do all that sort of thing on our own. Oh, go to catch up on comments. I am the grandparent friend. I support unconditionally and supply baked goods. That's a good grandparent friend right there. And normally spoil the ever-loving crap out of them. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's really good that you guys help each other. And that is where I met you guys, Arts Village, even though I was only there for 1 year. I remember that. Yes, I remember you like, yeah, you were there for a short time, but that was how we met, was that way. We met back up again at Space in, oh God, what year was it? We met back up at Space 1 year, fairly recently, and you introduced me to Vigo Burrito. At least that's their username on Instagram, but Vigo, the artist of Growing Up Jaredo, which is a great comic. Oh my God. I really need to catch up on it, but I just love the art that they post on social media. It's great. I love the interpretation of Ganondorf being a dad. It's wonderful. Like big burly dad. I love it. Okay. Let's see. I got the costume. Oh, I need to draw the feet. I need to draw details of the feet. Okay, there's one foot. Yeah, no, Arts Village was actually one of the things that made me say yes to attending BGSU in the first place. For a while, I was set on attending the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, which in hindsight, really glad I didn't go. But then I toured BGSU, and I was shown the Arts Village and told what the Arts Village did and what it represented and things like that. And I was like, sold, I'm going here. So that was one of the big draws for me. And I was actually one of the few people that remained part of the Arts Village for all 4 years that I was in school, which apparently not a lot of people do. But no, I loved the Arts Village, and I'm glad that that community existed. So I was glad to be a part of it. Ooh, talking about growing up Gerudo. It is amazing. Right now the comic is getting super dramatic, and I love it. Some of the preview images that I saw showed that it was getting super dramatic, and I really want to get to that point. Arts Village was so fun. Very grateful to meet you all. I'm so grateful that you're still here and part of my life. I also really miss Taiko. Same. I still have my Taiko Bachi, and I have no Taiko to play with. Oh, I miss Taiko so much. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, Taiko is Japanese festival drums. The thing that sets them apart from other drums is, they're freaking huge. Like here in the United States, Taiko is generally built out of old wine barrels with cowskin stretched over either end and then propped up on wood props. Sometimes, not always. You can play them with one end flat on the floor, but that percussion sounds different. But that's among the smaller drums are the ones that are built out of the wine ones, the wine barrels. There are some that the drum is as large as like from floor to ceiling in this apartment. Some of the drums get that big, but they are Japanese festival drums that they're also part dance whenever you play them. Like it's not just a rhythmic thing. You also like do these like squats, and the way that you move your arms and the way that you move your body is like it's part dance, part drum. I actually reference Taiko in The Case of the Wendigo, because Charlie here, whom I am drawing, this is Charlie from the Charlie Clow Adventures. She's actually a music student at university. She's studying to become a music professor. She also does Taiko. But yeah, music is her thing. I was really debating whether to have her multi-classing. Now that I've said that out loud, I'm like, maybe I should have had her multi-class as both a monk and a bard. How badass would that be? You can make it happen. But yeah, she's studying music because in the story she wants to become a music professor. And Taiko does get mentioned in The Case of the Wendigo. It gets referenced kind of towards the end, but it does get referenced. Also, just going to throw this out there, the inspiration for the character of Charlie was inspired by two people, both of whom I met at the Arts Village. The first was my friend who I still keep in touch with today, Natasha Burton. You can follow her on Instagram at Ms. Pirate Queen. She's a delight. If you ever wanted to see Black cosplay and Black Gothic Lolita, check her out, Ms. Pirate Queen. That's Ms. with a Z. She was one of the big inspirations for Charlie here. The other inspiration was my Taiko instructor, Tifa Lockhart. Tifa Lockhart was a Black girl who played Taiko stupidly well. And she also had dreads. I loved her visual aesthetic. So her visual aesthetic is what inspired Charlie's look. And also her playing Taiko inspired the character development of Charlie. Her attitude is a lot of Natasha. So those were my two inspirations when I created Charlie for the Charlie and Clow stories. Was I drew a lot from those two sources. In fact, the first adventure in the Charlie and Clow series is dedicated to them both because of that, because they were both my artistic inspirations when I came up with this. There we go. That looks a bit better. Okay. Oh, just to acknowledge, my favorite Tychos were the ones that were 6 feet tall and 4 feet long. Yeah, those were fun ones to play. Oh, talking about Tifa, I also remember her. She was one of the best instructors. She really was. She was one of the best teachers that I ever had. One of the best instructors that either of us ever had regarding Taiko. Like, she was great. Just going to erase some lines before I start drawing the patterns. That way the patterns are actually distinguishable. Yeah, I think I'll draw the patterns in the pencil stage. That way when I get to the inks, I have a basis for what to work off of. Because I normally draw the patterns in the inking stage. I'm not going to do that this time around. Oh, I'm going to erase some lines in the weapon outline. That way the head's a little more clear, a little bit more visible. There we go. Also erase some lines in the hands. That way it's not a mess. Let's see. Maybe it's because I'm tired, but I can't remember which lines to erase for this thumb. Oh, there we go. I was also working on some background material last night, kind of working late, and there was a lot of like copying and pasting and overlapping and trying to determine what lines to erase and what ones to keep. So my brain just kind of flashed to that, and I was like, what? How do I line? So the theme for this week is just running on a big lack of sleep. This is what happens whenever you're like working extra hours at a particular gig and moving into an apartment. Okay, so got that. Again, drawing the outlines of some patterns. Also, just to attest to how much of a nerd I am, one of my finals papers that I did for African art history was talking about the significance of the color indigo in 2 different cultures in Mali. That's how much of a nerd I am regarding African patterns and textiles and things like that. Again, not an expert by any means, but like I'm a nerd for this stuff. Which, if you are curious, the color indigo actually does have some big significance in some cultures in Mali, particularly to the Dogon people. The Dogon people dwell beside this massive cliffside. The color indigo is what they regard as the color between, it's like the color that leads from one world to the next. So they wrap their dead in indigo shrouds, continuing that tradition from the previous people who lived there, the Telem people. The Telem people were the people who actually lived in the cliff sides. Like, there are houses and rooms carved into the sides of the cliffs where the Telem people used to live, and their remains are still there because the Dogon are like, we're not touching that. But their dead were wrapped in indigo shrouds. And those same sorts of indigo shrouds and the patterns on them have also been found in cloths that the Dogon people use to lay underneath of expectant mothers during childbirth. So indigo is seen as like a color to connect the material plane to this kind of a spirit plane where spirits can like travel from their plane of existence to ours. That's the significance of indigo, is it's kind of the void. It's the void color. I thought that was fascinating, and that's why I did an entire research paper on the color indigo with these two peoples. But yeah, I could talk about this kind of stuff for days. Again, I'm a big nerd for this kind of stuff. There's also something to be said about the significance of hairstyles within particular African cultures, and especially within the Black community. And this is something that my art history instructor figured out, because she went to Burkina Faso to study how women made Bogolanfini, particularly how they developed silk, because in Burkina Faso, developing silk is considered a feminine art, even though it involves the killing of things. It's one of those weird, like, traditional custom loopholes where, like, in their society, it's considered, no, women aren't supposed to participate in things that involves the killing of things, but they are allowed to basically kill silkworms to develop silk. And my instructor wanted to study why that was. So she got a research grant to go to Burkina Faso and study how these women developed these silks. While she was there, though, there were a lot of people who were kind of giving her the side eye, not just because she was white, but because she had her hair, like, not styled. The most that she did was she tied it into a ponytail, but that was about the extent of how she styled it. And she would sometimes just let it, like, lay loose. And people were giving her the side eye because in that particular society, to have your hair loose, even like how I do it, is actually considered a sign that you're like a bushman. So if you want to be considered civilized, you have to have your hair styled in particular ways. So she got her stupidly blonde Norwegian hair braided, and like, she objectively thought that it did not look good. But then after she got her hair braided, people were like smiling at her and being like, hi, how are you? How are things? How's your research going? And like actually being friendly. And she was like, this is a big difference. What? So yeah, hairstyles, very big thing. Structured Mess, Story of My Life. I mean, that's your autobiography title right there. My wife said, I like her hair in reference to you and the character. Oh, well, thank you. I actually take great pride in my hair. I'm really glad that I decided to grow it out longer. I kind of want to see if I can get it more like long and like a mermaid kind of a style, but at the same time, I know what my hair is like whenever it gets anything lower than like my neckline. So I'm hesitant to grow it out that long, but I do like having the ability to like have my hair on one side or to tie it back or to like lay it on the other side. I like being able to do all kinds of things with my hair. I did have it in a mohawk for the longest time, but then the back of my head was just getting really, really obnoxious. So I just shaved it off. Remember to rest. Thank you, dad friend. I was making jokes earlier about me being the mom friend and reminding people, hey, remember to go to bed on time. Did you eat yet? Did you shower yet? Like being that kind of a friend. So thank you, Carlos. After this live stream, I am going to have lunch because, oh boy, am I hungry. Apparently, yesterday was National Donut Day. So my roommate Alex and I went and got donuts. In fact, I have this donut right here. Also, Bree is pawing at my lap. She really wants to get back in my lap. I am the same way. I had it really short once, and now my hair is almost exactly like yours, lols. You get it. Yeah. Because, like, I could talk about how obnoxious my hair can be whenever it gets to a particular length because, like, it is naturally wavy. Like, I did not style this like this. This is just how it is. This is how it grows. And if it gets, like, really, really long, like, if you have ever seen pictures of me when I was 12, I had it like down to my shoulder blades and I looked like a fucking lion, like an untamed lion. It was just like a mane, just, and it was awful. And I hated it. I started cutting it short when I worked at Cedar Point because I was like, fuck having long hair when I'm working outside. So I just cut it to about here. And then it just progressively got shorter and shorter and shorter until I just cut it into a mohawk. And then I kept the mohawk for a while. And I just want to see how long I can tolerate this particular hairstyle before I'm like, shave it all off. Happy to bring dad friend energy. Awesome to hear that. Thank you, Carlos. I just can't stand my hair touching my ears. I get that. I'm starting to get to that point with this hairstyle. Like it keeps like brushing against my ear and I'm like, stop it. Stop it. Stop. Like it's getting to that point. Actually, I will be right back. I'm going to go grab a hair tie really quick. Assuming Bree hasn't grabbed any. Okay, good. The hair ties are where they're supposed to be. Like, I love my cat, but she also has this tendency that if there is a hair tie within her reach, she will, like, play with it like it's a mouse. And she will toss it around, she will fling it across the room, and then she will drop it in her water dish. Because that's just the kind of cat that she is. I think that's actually a pretty good place for I think this what I've got with the sketch for Charlie is actually a really good place to start inking it. Back to D&D, I am making an interesting character right now. Are you making another bugbear? Tell me what you're creating. I want to hear details. Details, man. Because I want to hear more. Always happy to talk D&D. Hold on, I gotta do an image search of what the heck a GIF is. Oh, okay. I had seen them, but not actually like seen them in play. Okay. I get this. For to save people an image search, as Brett said, GIFs are space hippo people. There you go. Yeah, they're hippo people. Kind of like how Loxodon are elephant people, which honestly, I kind of want to look into creating an elephant character or a Loxodon. Um, Surprisingly, GIFs did not get a shout out in Joe Cat's video about races in D&D. He did a rap about the various races that you could play in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Weirdly, GIFs did not get a shout out. Probably because he didn't know that they were a playable character. But that sounds interesting. A GIF gunslinger, that sounds like a lot of fun. Gunslingers in general sound like a lot of fun. Just making sure that everything's hunky-dory regarding the pencils here before I start inking. Okay, I'm going to merge this weapon layer down, save the progress so far, start a new layer. I'm going to call it X. And we're going to set the opacity on the pencil layer to 50%. That way, when I ink, it's actually visible. Let's try that again. Nope. Yes. I don't mean to sound like a pretentious weeb talking about particular subjects. It's stuff that I like talking about. Oh, let me make sure that the eye lines are okay. Okay. That's better. Really glad for that mirror tool. It has made life so much easier. There we go. Sheesh. That took so many swipes. I'll admit, when I draw with pen and ink, or whenever I do like the traditional means of drawing, I can get these lines, the particular smile lines, way faster. Probably if I had a fancy smancy Cintiq and I can draw directly on the screen, I could probably do a lot better of a job, but I do not have one of those, and I am not made of money, so. Oh, I meant to make an announcement about this sooner, but I'll go ahead and start. I will make this announcement here, and then I will reiterate it on social media. If you know somebody who is a person of color and an editor who has worked in fiction, hit me up, because I am looking to hire an editor to help me and my friend Sean edit some fiction pieces for a compilation we're trying to get published. But we're looking for an editor, and I want to make sure that this editor is a person of color, because I actually have the means to be able to pay this person. And that is one thing that I can do. Speaking of allyship and things like that, like, this is something that I can do, is I can hire an editor who is a person of color to help with this project. So if you know somebody who fits that criteria, hit me up. There we go. Well, I want to try that line again. There we are. That got it. Again, these are braids, not dreadlocks. Dreadlocks are drawn in a different way. Maybe the next character that I do for a live draw will have dreadlocks. Who knows? Oh, I'm just going to take a second to answer some comments. Brett, I did see that you posted a lot. Oh, they are a homebrew thing. Okay. I had a hunch because when I did the image search for GIFs a second ago, they popped up as a enemy in Mordekainen's Tome of Foes. So that makes sense that that's a homebrew thing. Yeah, GIFs are not normally playable. That makes sense. Joe Cat's the best. I love Joe Cat. He actually made a guest appearance in one of Overly Sarcastic Productions live streams, and it was great. It was the live stream where Blue was playing Hollow Knight, and Joe Cat was a guest on there, and it was delightful to listen to him. I find a lot of homebrew stuff in my free time because I like new content. Oh, so one guy that you may like then is this is somebody whom Never Endings has started sponsoring a lot. There's a YouTube channel called The Dungeon Coach, and he does a lot of homebrew stuff for D&D 5e and other RPGs, but mostly D&D 5e is a lot of what he caters to at the moment. But The Dungeon Coach, he does a lot of stuff with homebrew things. He actually made a suggestion for how to fix Ranger, and I love it because Ranger really needed fixed. Being made of money. Now that is an interesting idea for a character. I brain farted. I forget which character this is in reference to. My bad for spamming. Dude, you're fine. You're fine. Anybody can spam the chat. It's all good. Okay, Brett, help refresh my memory. Maybe it's because I'm just tired, but like I don't remember what character I was talking about. Hold on a sec. I'm trying to retrace my steps in the conversation. I don't know. Probably on a rewatch, it'll be like glaringly obvious. Who knows? I'm just gonna have I'm gonna have a donut. I'm going to do. I said I was not made of money. Yeah, that would be an interesting character concept if somebody was just made out of dollar bills. Idiom made reality. Yes. Oh, there's a couple different. I feel like idioms made reality is the entire reason that the Muppets exist. I think. Because I still remember there was a Muppet commercial. It was for something pre-Disney acquisition. I don't remember what specific Muppet property this was for, but the commercial had like Kermit talking to somebody, and then this somebody went, yeah, when pigs fly, and suddenly Miss Piggy is just like, wah! Into the frame. And I was like, that's a totally Muppet thing to do. Oh, I just had the thought, God, my neighbors must hate me for just talking constantly. And something I had thought about doing, but I think I'm definitely going to make it a reality, is making a sign saying on air and just hanging it outside of the door anytime that I'm doing a live stream, so that people know that I'm going to be talking really, really loudly. course, that might also get a lot of the neighbors being like, hey, can I get on your live stream? And it's like, maybe, if you're not going to be a dick. Okay. Looks like I'm going to need to pause there because it is 3 o'clock and that is the end of the live stream. How many likes are we at for this live stream? Oh, yep. And Sesame Street. Yeah, Sesame Street would be idioms made reality. Talking about Snuffleupagus. Yeah. How many likes is this live stream at? Because I'm still doing that 20 like giveaway. If there's not enough likes on the live stream, then I will extend the giveaway period to include the replay once the replay posts. Just let me know in the chat like how many likes we're at. Okay. There's a notification on my phone. It's not important. 7. Okay. I'll extend the giveaway period. So for folks who are watching this on the replay, which the replay will post within the next half an hour or so, once this video reaches 20 likes, just leave a like and leave a comment. Once this video reaches 20 likes, I will give away free copies of the Charlie Clow trilogy for free to one lucky viewer. This is adventure 3 in the trilogy, The Case of the Wendigo. I promised a dramatic reading. I will do a dramatic reading. So I'm going to pull up a page here. Oh, I will do the page over here because this is the one that I like to do dramatic readings of whenever I do this, like at conventions. So, okay. Whack! Step away from the man, monster! Yes! Punch! Wumpita, wumpita, ruda, ruda, play. That's for kicking me earlier. It's one of my favorite pages. I love to read it out loud. That one and these two right here. Trying to work with the camera here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This one first. Chase me off. People are watching. Oh. Back, demon. Twiddle, twiddle. Back to the pit of hell from whence you came and never return. Oh, curses. You saved us! Oh, thank you, madam, for chasing him away! Yes! He had been harassing us for quite some time. Now we are free! And then everybody just crowds around. Oh my gosh! Like, a real exorcist, do you make house visits? I think my house is haunted. Like, I love reading those 2 pages. Like, those are my 2 favorite pages to read out loud to people at comic conventions. Sounds like so much fun. It is so much fun. It's a fun story. I loved making it. I will say, if I had known then what I know now about the Wendigo legend, probably would have written this a bit differently. But the book is printed. It's done. I'm pretty well satisfied with how it turned out, all things considered. But if I ever revisit the Wendigo legend again, I'm going to incorporate what I have learned about the legend. They were marvelous. Thank you so much. I love reading. I love doing dramatic readings of things. I love it. I love it so much. I probably could have done the dramatic reading actually bringing up the comic page on the screen, and that would have made things just a little bit easier, but I like to make things difficult, and it was impromptu, so alrighty. I'll go ahead and wrap up this live stream here, at least for now. I may revisit drawing Charlie again in the next live stream, or I may just finish her off stream and post it on social media once she's done. But I'm just going to call the stream here for today. There will be another stream next week. I will also announce this giveaway that I announced today. I'm going to continue this into the replay of this stream. So if this replay gets 20 likes and you leave a comment, you will be entered into a giveaway to get the Charlie and Clow trilogy for free, shipped to you. I have plenty of copies. They need new homes. So be sure to leave a like once this becomes a replay, leave a comment, and share this far and wide, because the more that you share it, the more people watch, the more likely the giveaway will actually happen. Again, only doing the giveaway when this replay reaches 20 likes. So be sure to give it a like. So excited to see your next one. I am too. I don't know what I'm going to draw yet. Probably Charlie again. I don't know. Oh, thank you for the flowers, Carlos. It's been fun as always. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. You have a wonderful weekend as well. It's June. It's summer. Gah. Have a good weekend and stay safe. Yes, absolutely. I'll go ahead and announce this too. So Monday, watch on my blog, kelseydcrawford.com. I'm looking to have a blog post posted by Monday shouting out my favorite comics by Black creators. I wanted to try to get that done before this weekend, but I'm still moving into a new house and I've got a lot of work at one of my gigs, so I wasn't able to get it done. But it should be ready by Monday, so watch the blog for that, because there's some really cool comics that I want to shout out. On the website right now is a list of Black creators that I really like. One of them is Chris Scott. He's a contender in Super Art Fight, which is absolutely great. But he also is a comic creator who created the comic 2-Ton Rock God. I have heard nothing but good things about it. Check it out. It's awesome. Okay. Going to bring the giveaway notification back up. I'll also give a shout out because this episode was sponsored by Neverending. Again, all views that were stated in this video are my own. They are not reflected of what Neverending has stated. Neverending has its own statement. You can check that out at beneverending.com. If you have any questions for them, reach out to them on Twitter at beneverending. There is a Kickstarter launching next week. Neverending is going to be on Kickstarter next week. Oh boy. So to be the first to find out when the Kickstarter launches, go to beneverending.com, sign up for their email list, be the first to find out about it. We're going on Kickstarter because I'm part of the team. We're going on Kickstarter to get some funding to fully develop the character builder app, but also to develop other functionalities that we want to do with this app. What we want to do with this app is make it easy for people who want to get their D&D stories animated. Make it easier for them to be able to do that. The app is going to have like a library of its own of art assets that you can swap out to create your own characters and get them into scenes. And then you can construct those scenes into like animatics or comic strips. We want to eventually develop it so that you can do full-on animations with this platform so that you can animate moments that happened in your Dungeons and Dragons campaign, because we think that would be cool. It would also be a really handy tool for folks who are like fan fiction writers or people who want to write screenplays or who really just want to tell a story. Make it really easy for you to be able to tell that story with the art on the platform, making your own characters, and then animating them with a super easy to use interface. That's what Neverending is trying to accomplish. And that's what they're going on Kickstarter to do, is they're going on Kickstarter to get the funding together to develop this app, to do more of what we want it to do to help more people tell stories. That's why I'm behind it. That's why I became the chief creative officer why I'm making art for it as much as I am, and why I'm working with the art team to develop the art assets. Check it out, beneverending.com. The Kickstarter launches next week. Holy banana pants. Any other questions that you have about the platform, reach out on Twitter at beneverending. And I will bring up the giveaway announcement again for folks who are watching on the replay. If you have any questions or concerns for me, my social media links can be found here, linktree/KelseyD. That's going to be it for me. I'm going to do another live stream next week, again from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The content of what I'm going to draw is to be determined. If you're going to participate in protests, be safe. Turn off your location notifications. And like there's all kinds of safety precautions. Like a lot of the folks that I've been following on Instagram have been posting things. Just watch out for resources with the Black Lives Matter hashtag if you're going to participate. I am not in a position to participate in protests because I have friends and family who are immune compromised and I don't want to risk catching COVID. So I am staying home. But I will be promoting Black voices as much as I can. And I am going to do what I can to give those voices a boost and make room for those voices to speak. And other things that I can do, I am more than happy to help. And if you have any questions for me about how to get involved or how to be a better ally, reach out to me through the social media links on the bottom of the screen. This is actually something that I'm really excited to talk about. Again, this is just part of my Unitarian Universalist background. This is something that UUs have been doing for years. So I'm happy to help out however I can. It's a work in progress, just like all of us. All of us are people who are works in progress. If you fail the first time, that's okay. As long as you are willing to get back up and try again, that's what matters. Also, just listen. Listening is so important. All right. Again, linktree/KelseyD. Also, stay tuned for the blog for more shout outs. Another live stream coming next week, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. I'll do a better job of actually promoting it next time. This week has been a little topsy-turvy because I've been moving into the apartment. More to come soon. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe out there. No matter how you participate or what you do, remember that you are awesome. And take care of yourself.